Okay, we're back, and I've taken care of all of the other, the flour and everything like that. I've let my bread just keep mixing and keep mixing. It's been about 7 minutes or so, 6 or 7 minutes, and it's looking perfect. I added that last third of a cup to the mix and just let it keep going, and now it's just the perfect consistency. So I've got my bowl here, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of non-stick cooking spray to the bowl. Now you can just put a little vegetable oil in there if you want to as well. I like this canola oil spray, the non-cooking spray. It works great for me. So whatever your preference is, if you don't have any of that, but have a little olive oil, drizzle that in there. Anything to just kind of make it a little bit greasy so that the dough doesn't stick right to the bowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Take off my dough here. This looks really good. A little piece of dough on the end. Oh yeah, that feels really good. Now, when the dough comes out, you still want it nice and pliable. You don't want it really stiff. Now this is, I mean, I'm not saying that it's like really soupy. You know what I mean? You can tell. It's not sticky, okay? But it's not super hard. It doesn't look like it's been over processed. I can still feel the warm in it, and that's what you want. You want your dough to still feel warm. So I just kind of pinch it and bring it around into a ball, just like this. And I'm gonna put it upside down, and then I'm gonna flip it over, just like that. Now this is gonna sit on the back of my stove. I have it preheated to 350 degrees. So I'm just gonna let this set. I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap because that in itself causes this to proof or to rise a lot faster and a lot more even. A lot of people say just put a damp cloth over it, and you can definitely do that too. But if you have some plastic wrap at home or saran wrap, cover your bowl with that, because the moisture and the heat within the dough and the bowl itself as it gets warm will make that rise, and everything will contain itself right in there, and it just makes it go so much faster, and it does let it rise a little more evenly, and you don't even begin to dry out the dough if you do it that way. So definitely cover it in some plastic wrap if you have any, and if you don't, a damp cloth works too, okay? So we're gonna let this rise for about half hour, 45 minutes, until it doubles in size. And when it doubles in size, then we're gonna bring it back here, we're gonna turn it out on here and cut it into 2 pieces and put it in our loaf pans to rise again. So we'll be back in about, I would say 40 minutes or so to do some more. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and the dough looks wonderful. It's risen to about double in size, and I've had it right on the back of the stove. The stove's been going. You can feel the moisture in the saran wrap. So we know that that has just risen just the way it needed to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this right out onto my countertop. And it comes out really easy because we had just sprayed some of that non-stick cooking spray inside the bowl, and it kept that nice and moist along with the moisture of the warm dough as it was rising. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this in half. You can just use a knife or break it apart or whatever, but I have a nice pastry scraper there. And if you want to get technical and weigh them so they're exact, you definitely can. Now in order to make the loaf to go into our loaf pans, I just cut it in half and kind of just tap it on the counter to kind of break down any air bubbles or anything like that that's in it. And I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it. And as I roll it, the flat parts of my knuckles, between my first knuckle and my second knuckle, that's gonna kind of act as your rolling pin, so to speak. And you're just gonna knead that and roll it into a nice, tight cylinder with the seam at the bottom. And I'm gonna go ahead and tuck in both ends, and then just make a nice long loaf, just like that. And that's gonna go right into our loaf pan. And now I'm gonna do the same thing with the second one. Just kind of beat it just a couple of times down on the counter to take any of that air out, because you don't want your loaf to have those big air pockets in them, because then you won't have a whole slice of bread when you go ahead and dig into it. And you want that, definitely. So tuck in the edges, seam side down, And I just kind of give it a little bit of a shape here. Make sure that it feels even all the way across. That goes into the loaf pan there. We're gonna let these rise again. I'm gonna put them on the back of the stove, and I'm gonna just lay just a regular dish towel over them. And I want them to rise right up to the top. Then they're gonna pop into the 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or so and cook off. And when they come out, they're gonna be perfect. I'm gonna show you what they look like when they're all done. I'm gonna do a quick video on how to make some homemade butter to go with this. And so tune in for that one. And then I'll be showing you the homemade bread on that segment too. But we'll be back in a few minutes. I wanna show you the end result on this. Again, 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or so. And when they come out, they are perfect. So we'll be right back. Hey everybody, we're back. And the bread is just about ready to go in the oven. So I wanted to show you really quick what it looks like before we stick it in there. And my oven, again, is on 350 degrees. And this has been rising for about 40, 45 minutes or so, right around there, okay? So you can see it's just beautiful. It's risen to that, well, a little over double in size, just to kind of the top of the ridge of the bread pans. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put them into the oven, and they should probably bake for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven and depending on you know, what you're using also for your bread pans. I know some people have like the metal, or they're not really metal, they're more the non-stick kind of coated bread pans. Some people use the glass bread pans. These here are some stone, I think they're actually Pauladine stoneware bread pans. So I've used those and they work really well. I really love them. So those are just kind of my go-to. So again, they're in here for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're golden brown on the top. And when I come back to show you when they come out of the oven, I'm gonna kind of show you a trick on how to tell when they're really done, because they're not like cake or cupcakes where you stick a toothpick in it and you know that they're done. So bread's a little tricky when to know when to take it out and when to leave it in. So I'll show you a little trick when we come back, and they'll be ready to go. So we'll be right back. Hey everybody, we're back. It's been about 25 minutes. The bread is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the oven here, and then we're gonna be able to take it right out. Now it's a nice golden brown at the top. It's not really dark brown, okay, because this is pretty light bread. So you just want a nice kind of oaky color to the top of the bread there. And like I said, I made 2 loaves and they look perfect. Now I told you that I was going to teach you a little bit of a trick here to kind of know if the bread is actually done. You'll kind of be able to tell because the top is a nice golden brown, but another trick to it is you want to turn it out onto your cooling rack. It should fall right out. It's got a nice golden hue to the bottom too, but you want to knock on it. Just tap it. And if you can feel a little bit of a hollowness to it as you tap it, you know that it's done. And these are perfect. So again, mine took about 25 minutes or so on 350 degrees, and they were ready to go. And they pop right out of these pans. I didn't have to grease the pans ahead of time. I left them alone. And you get a little bit of a hollow tap there, and they're perfect. Now, I'm gonna let those cool just for a couple minutes, not very long. I'm gonna slice it up and put some of that homemade butter that I did in another quick tip video. Don't forget to go ahead and view that so you know how to make the homemade butter. It is phenomenal. You'll definitely wanna make it, and it tastes so great. There's nothing like homemade butter. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and make yourself some bread. Your family would love it. It makes the house smell amazing. So good luck everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button right down there, right down in that lower right hand corner. Just click subscribe. We'd love to have you be able to view all of our videos whenever you want. So whatever you do, don't forget, make it with love. Take care everybody. We'll see you next time.